this pisses me off, like what's going on in Portland. They're 9 months from the next WNBA start date, and they don't even have a team name, right? So that means you're already substantially behind where you should be from a marketing rollout. And I hate a wannabe down ass human being who like really don't care about something, but it's like a sneakerhead who goes out of his way to buy a pair of sneakers just because they're popular, but they don't got none of the clothing to go with it. So it should be pretty obvious to everybody out there that the business of the WNBA right now is booming. They just announced 3 new franchises that are joining the league: Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. I'm excited about that. But there is one more team that is supposed to start business in about 9 months, and they don't even have a team name yet. Samaria, of course, I'm talking about the WNBA franchise out in Portland. Just complete and utter chaos going on out there. What is your perspective on everything taking place with Portland right now?
You know what? It's absolutely crazy. I saw that they fired their president after a couple of months. I'm not really sure what's going on, but obviously the ramifications of this has just completely messed up anybody else that wants a WNBA team that does not have an NBA, or not just doesn't have an NBA team, but does not own an NBA team. So they're only looking at owners of NBA teams, NBA franchises that want to also get a WNBA team. So that's why we have the 3 teams that we do. All of them own the NBA team. So it's really upsetting because I know a lot of people have brought up Nashville. I just did a story about how Nashville would have been an amazing spot for a WNBA team. I've been saying it from the beginning of time. Just the state of Tennessee as a whole is just known for women's basketball. The Hall of Fame is there. You got Pat Summitt, the Lady Vols, all of the things. And so because this city does not have ownership in the NBA, they're not going to get a team because of what Portland has going on over there.
Yeah, I think if they would have had some people who are synonymous with basketball from the state of Tennessee, maybe that would have been something that gave it a little bit more of a push. Like if Candace Parker was the face of a group trying to start a team in Tennessee, I think that would bode extremely well. Obviously, there's a slew of players who played at University of Tennessee who we could add to the list on both the men's and women's side. Tobias Harris, there's a long list. But you know what? This pisses me off. Like what's going on in Portland. They're 9 months from opening doors from the next WNBA start date, and they don't even have a team name, right? So that means you're already substantially behind where you should be from a marketing rollout. And I hate a wannabe down ass human being who like really don't care about something, but it's like a sneakerhead or a sneakerhead, let me say, who goes out of his way to buy a pair of sneakers just because they're popular, but they don't got none of the clothing to go with it. Yeah, your whole fit is trash, but you got the sneakers, so you look like you're part of the culture, but you really don't have a vested interest in this thing that you went out of your way to acquire. And that's what this reminds me of. This is an embarrassment. And Portland is a city that has Nike and Adidas headquarters. It is a place where there's not much to do. So sports teams are beloved in Portland. So to have an organization potentially be opening their doors in 9 months that still doesn't have their ducks in a row is an embarrassment. And I feel incredibly bad for the women who are ultimately going to play for that team, because you already know if this is how they're handling the business and the marketing, you already know what the inner sanctum of their team is going to be like. You already know that the facilities and how they handle players is going to be subpar. Like this is not going over well, and I kind of feel like they should just pivot if they can and scrap the idea of this team being in Portland, helmed by this group.
Yeah, and I know that Kathy is getting a lot of flack for that because it seems like maybe she didn't do her due diligence in investigating and researching this ownership group to see if they were even capable of running a team. I know that they have another team, the Portland Thorn.
They own a soccer team.
Really sure. They have a soccer team
out there. And I believe they're partial owners of the Kings or something, or their older brother is the partial owner of the Sacramento Kings. And that organization is also very poorly run. So I don't understand why you would further entrench yourselves in the business of that family, but go off.
I mean, the reports is that, you have to have an NBA team under your belt before you get a WNBA team. As much as that sucks for some cities, I can understand. Like, you gotta protect your bottom line, and your bottom line is creating a league that is going to be sustainable and be able to last. And so if you are bringing in people that really don't know what they're doing, then I can see why Kathy is like, you got to have a little bit more experience under your belt.
You know what? And I think I understand why it's important to have
Yeah.
WNBA teams married to NBA franchises, but even more so than just like having familiarity with running an NBA franchise, I just need people with passion about the WNBA to be a part of the business of the WNBA, not just people who understand the ascension of the business, not just people who are looking to have a large percentage of ROI, return on investment, on being a part of the WNBA. I want people who actually care about the sport. Have these two women been courtside at WNBA games over the last 10 years? What has their presence been like within the infrastructure of the WNBA? I need to know these things before we just start handling over such a fragile piece of business to people because they have money. I understand that money runs the world. I get it. If anybody understands it in these times, is me. Okay, I see what's going on in the world. I get it. But there has to be people who actually care about things. We got to have people who have passion for the things that they have, that the business that they're a part of. Otherwise, the business suffers. And this business is so important to so many people in this country and globally. Women's sports is a way out. It's a way of empowerment. It's a way to uplift. It's the way to showcase and highlight the superior athleticism of women. Like this is a real thing. Like, and I don't mean to be like so overly passionate about it, but this is a real tangible business that has the ramifications and implications of affecting millions of young girls. And I just think if you're not taking that seriously, then get the out. Get out.
And it could be a situation where they are passionate about it, but they're just in over their heads because they don't know what they're doing.
Man.
But I'm like, say for instance, you have a restaurant owner. It's like, okay, I'm going to open up a restaurant and I'm going to sell my grandma's fried chicken recipe, but you don't know the business side. Like you have the passion for the food, but maybe
cool.
And now you're I'm saying that
Samaria,
could be a situation. I'm not sure.
I ain't never met a woman who had an idea and something they wanted to do and started the process and didn't have a name for it. Nah, man, that's not you being in over your head. That's you just not really caring that much. You don't care. This is a side project, man. Like everyone knows that branding and marketing is everything. Pivoting just from this conversation for a minute, because I know that I sound way too passionate. I know that you had something else you wanted to introduce to the conversation, because there's been some slights going on around the couple of the new team names.
Yeah, and so you have a lot of the WNBA players excited about an 18-team league, but I feel like, some people aren't necessarily happy about the cities that are in this new 3-team, specifically Cleveland and Detroit. So Fever star Sophie Cunningham said that she's not necessarily excited to have to live in Detroit or Cleveland. She would have rather be in Nashville or Miami or Kansas City, who she says has a nice arena downtown that no one is using. I get it, but it rubs.
Don't she play for the Fever in Indiana? Just for the record.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't she play in Indiana? But okay, go off. Okay.
It rubbed me the wrong way because, I don't know, obviously I'm a little bit biased to Detroit, but I'm like, Detroit has 3 teams right now. And I mean, the Red Wings, they okay, but you got the Lions, the Tigers are one of the best teams right now in the MLB. And the Pistons just went on a run and they show up. And they would show up for you. But you're saying you don't want to live there. I don't know. I just feel like it was almost kind of like you're ungrateful.
In fairness.
But you want the expansion. This is what we need for the growth of the league. And these are teams that are showing up obviously now because you really got to do your due diligence now with Kathy after Portland. These are teams that are really like, okay, we know what we're doing. We're going to have a name. We're going to have a president. And now you're like, well, I don't really want to live in Cleveland or Detroit. I'm like, ugh, I feel like she shouldn't have said that.
In fairness, Nashville is white Atlanta. And so I understand a white woman wanting to be in white Atlanta playing basketball. That would just, especially without a sports franchise, a professional sports franchise in that city. I understand what she was saying, but I feel like you can make your point.
Franchises. What are you saying?
Nobody cares about hockey.
They got the Titans.
Do they play in Nashville?
Yes.
Is there a stadium in Nashville?
Yes. I could see it from my apartment.
Whatever. You live in Detroit. Anyway. All right. There is a professional
my old apartment in Nashville.
All right. So there's a professional football team in Nashville. My apologies. I thought the Titans played outside of Nashville for whatever reason. But to have a basketball franchise in a state that does produce very, very high quality basketball players, whose collegiate basketball scene, obviously, it's only second to probably the Blue Bloods of Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas. To have a professional basketball team in that city, I just think bodes incredibly well. Obviously, Nashville is on the rise, but you can make a point about wanting to be in other cities without talking down on the cities that were announced, right? Like Detroit is a very specific city in that, a couple of years ago, the city of Detroit was bankrupt. And so as they're on the cusp of building the infrastructure of that city up, these kinds of things, create a lot of revenue for the city and for the people who work in and around that city. Because I work in an arena, I'm gonna say it all the time. I know the faces of the people who work in arenas. And so whether that's security guards and ushers and vendors, these are the things that really help create an economic boom in the city. And when those NBA games are over, a lot of those people don't have income. And so, the opportunity to create some revenue in a city that has been starved for it over the last 10 or 15 years or so, it's important. So I just think that maybe she's being a little short-sighted, just looking at her own position of privilege and not understanding the implications and ramifications of these teams being in these cities specifically.
Exactly.
So,
and that's what I'm saying, especially when this is a city where all the teams are doing really well right now and people are showing up. Like, I've never seen baseball, literally, like the Tigers games, they're showing up every single game.
It'll be interesting, right? So we have Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. Detroit and Cleveland, their fan bases are showing up. Now that Philly fan base, you want to talk about mental health, okay? If you think that people been on Angel Reese ass, if you think they've been on Angel Reese ass, let you miss a layup in Philly as a woman. I want to see how your mental health is when they start being, hey, this John is terrible. Her nut ass. She the Philadelphia fans do not play. They throw batteries at Santa Claus. Okay. So if you feel like you worried about the mental health of the female athlete, you just wait till they start tipping off WNBA basketball in Philadelphia and they team ain't good. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I can't. I hope and pray.
You see, she didn't say nothing about Philly, though. You see that?
Yeah, I bet.
She didn't say nothing about Philly.
You bet. They don't.
That was a choice.
They do not. They don't play in Philly, man. But it's good to see the growth and the expansion of the WNBA. I want to see even more teams. Obviously, there's going to have to be some real leadership that takes hold of these franchises if the WNBA is going to continue to ascend. The play on the court, I believe, is starting to grow and expand to create more eyeballs. But now you got to have people that have a business mind and passion for the sport in order for it to grow in the way that we all hope and think that it can.
All right, you guys, you let us know down in the comments, what do you make of all the things happening right now in the WNBA? Do you feel like Portland is messing it up for teams like Nashville? We want to hear from you. And also, what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's thoughts on Detroit and Cleveland? I want to know down in the comments.